Great. So welcome to, I believe, the fifth event, live streaming event. Uh, Obviously, much more popular than the other event going on the other side of the Atlantic. Yeah, this is where it's really happening on the chessboard. But again, curiously enough, we're going to be interested in someone who came from America, one of America's greatest exports, Paul Morphy. Last week we looked at his great game against Meek, and we understood how Morphy managed to mobilize his pieces with lightning speed. He followed the idea of the box of chocolates, which they'd been working at in chess for hundreds of years, improving the power of the queen and the bishop, and then actually solidifying the castling rules, which were hotly debated for a couple of centuries. So they kind of fixated on, I think, castling in a certain way, which is the way we know. Now, I want to show you another game of Morphy from another direction. And this also refers to his lightning skills in development. I hope you will study Morphy very carefully and also be interested to see that the great Anderson, probably the first world chess champion, official, well, unofficially official, Adolf Anderson from Germany, when faced with Morphy, faced with the enormous attacking power of Morphy, what move do you think Anderson chose? Well, it was none other than the creepy crawly. He began with one pawn to a3, which became known as Anderson's opening. But of course, you know, the guys who run chess were interested in suppressing the reality of the greatness of the creepy crawly. That opening has been forgotten. They've forgotten that Anderson got the better of Morphy by playing this system. But that's another story for another time. Now let's just celebrate this incredible game of Morphy. And it starts in a regular way. I'm also going to see, again, do you have the magic ingredient to be Paul Morphy as well? Let's see if you could have done as well as him. Because this game was played in 1858 in London, this was Morphy's famous tour where he shocked the chess establishment in England, and he was never to be forgotten. Let's begin the game. It begins with click and click. Oh, it's gone there. Good. A bit slowly. It's done. E4, the famous suicide move. E4, moving a pawn up directly in front of your king. Crazy idea. But, of course, White has a secret weapon up his sleeve called castling. Now Black responds in kind. Going to e5, they're battling for control of the center. For the moment, the kings are in second place. Now White's next move is not the king's gambit. Morphy played knight f3. And Black, with his pawn under attack, moves his knight to c6. And now with quick development in mind, the bishop moves to c4, and Black responds in kind, bishop c5. So now we have question one. Question one, what is the name of this opening? There's no excuse for ignorance, for just sitting down and making moves as they go along. You have to have knowledge. So, what is the name of this opening for 6 points? Okay, if you said Italian game, you will score 6 points. Now, for another 6 points, could you tell me what the old name of this opening was? We're calling it the Italian game is, I think, a modern invention. So what's the other name for this opening? We have a response from Past Pawn Quadruple 9, and he said the Gyoko piano. Yes, no doubt. He well done. The other name is the Gyoko piano, and so 6 points if you said it was the Gyoko piano. So if you said the Gyoko piano first time and then Gyoko piano second time, you get a total of 12. If you said the Italian game and then the Gyoko piano, you also get 12 points. Now that was question 1. Question 2. Okay, and no cheating, please. Could you tell me, out of your own head, how do you spell Gyoko? I don't want you looking at your screens and getting the computer to answer to you. You have to have faith in yourself. How do you spell Gyoko? Oh dear, it is written on the screen and it is written correctly. Anyway, if you knew it was spelled Giuoco, then you score 6 points. Yep. And if you looked it up on the screen and said it was spelt like that, then I can't really penalize you because it's not your fault. The computer told you the answer. Anyway, we have to make sure how it's spelt. The last question, this original name, question 3, is Gyoko piano. Can you actually tell me, translate that from the Italian? What does Gyoko piano mean? And again, if you said quiet game, you are a true connoisseur of chess, a cultured individual. Quiet game because you don't only know how to play chess, but you know the history, the lore of chess. It gives you a certain je ne sais quoi. So the quiet game, piano is quiet from pianoforte, the piano loud and quiet, and game is gyoko. And I think we have 6 points for the correct translation, and I think we can say that the languages are related. Gyoko sounds like a very strange word, but when you think of the word the joker, then you understand how that word has entered our language. So language is important, as is calculation. So now we move on to the game. We know what this opening is called. It was a very popular one in those days, probably more popular than the Relo Pez, because it was targeting the f7 square, the weak square in black's position. Now, question 4, choose your next move for white. Now, if you chose pawn to c3, we'll give you 6 points for that. If you chose pawn to d3, we'll also give you 6 because that is the Gyoko pianissimo, the very quiet game. When you play pawn to c3, let me just sort of do a bit of clicking here, just to explain what I mean. Pawn c3, this has the ambition of steamrolling into the center. Let's say black goes knight f6, and then white smashes up with d4. This is a hotly disputed line of the Gyoko piano, and white is trying to overrun black in the center. Remember, black's king is still in the middle. Black relies on his quick development, and we won't go into this particular line, but that is called the Gyoko piano. So as I say, 6 points if you saw that. Let me just retreat the pieces. Retreat, retreat, retreat. We get back to our position. If we play pawn to d3, whoops, that's the pianissimo, And that's quite popular nowadays. Of course, it's a more symmetrical pawn position. It can lead to the famous canal trap, which I may eventually explain to you. But so d3 is often the move played in modern times. We're going to retreat that. If you played knight c3, I'm just going to give you 4 points for that, because the knight on c3 may tend to block the pawn at c2. So it may not get to c3 in order to build the center. Let's see what Morphy did. He didn't do any of this stuff. He played instead the move pawn to b4. Okay, so pawn to b4. If you chose that move, 6 points again. That's the Evans Gambit. This is a famous gambit discovered by the, I think, Welsh seaman back in the 1830s, when he gambited the pawn, and everyone became very entranced by this opening. It's sacrificing a pawn to accelerate White's control of the center, his development, and his ability to attack the black king, which, as we remember from the very first move of the game, both sides, white and black, expose their kings. So b4, the jury is out on how good it is, but that's what the fascination of chess is. You can still play these moves hundreds of years later, and you're entering into the unknown, because nobody is quite sure what the best moves are. So let's go for b4, and black played, he accepted this gambit. Bishop takes b4, and white, I believe, moved. White now gains a tempo, as we say, by moving his pawn up to c3, hitting the bishop. I think the most regular move is to retreat the bishop to safety to a5, but Hampton, that's Morphy's opponent, retreats to c5. Let's have a pause again for you to decide what you would play for white here. Well, you might have chosen queen b3 to attack the black f7 pawn, yeah? So that if black, say, gets his knight out, you can attack his king by bishop takes f7 check. This is a possibility, but it may be premature. So we're going to retreat them. We'll give you 3 points for queen b3. May be better for white to continue with his center control. They've all gone back. How did they do that so quickly? Okay, to his center control and his development. So I think d4, we can give you 6 points. Morphy didn't do this. He actually castled, which will also give you 6 points if you chose that. Okay, let's move on. And how did black play now? I think he shored up his center. As far as I can see, he did indeed. Black decided to defend his central position by playing pawn to d6, and white now did move into the middle. See, so white has he's cost him a pawn, but he's been able to get his attack in the center very quickly, and we can see that black is still actually with his king in the middle, whereas white has been able to castle. So white has the lead in development. Black takes the pawn. Come on, takes the pawn, please. He did, and white takes back. The piggyback opening. White has now got 2 pawns in the center, and the bishop naturally has to retreat, because if she takes on d4, you will lose a piece. Right, so white seems to be doing quite well in development terms. It's cost him a pawn. Now, your next choice is for white. What move will you play? Well, there are many attractive moves for white here. You might have thought of developing a bishop to g5, or let's give you 6 for that. I think bishop f4 or bishop e3, we would only give you 3 points for these. They're good developing moves, but not particularly aggressive. Queen b3, that looks a nice attacking move on the black center. Black f7 square, so 4 points. Also, you could try knight g5, again trying to aim for black's weak spot on f7 here. So that's one of the themes of this opening, constant attack on f7. That's why black desperately is trying to castle at some point. So knight g5, 4 points as well. You could, oops, can we go back again? No, we don't. No, we want to go forward. Forward, forward. Yeah, I think rook e1 is a strong move, but not rook e1 will give you 4 points for that. These are solid moves. Knight c3 was the move chosen by Morphy. He's biding his time. He's getting his pieces out. So let's give him 8 points. Knight c3, 8 points. Knights often come out before the bishops because they've got further to go. A bishop is in a way already developed even when he's on the back row. That bishop at c1, he's attacking 5 squares already. So the knight has got into a stronger position. We got up to move 8. Let's see what black did here. Black now took his life in his hands. I think he developed. Yes, he plays his knight to f6. And he wants to do that because, he's thinking, can I castle kingside? I'm just wondering, he might have had a different plan, maybe playing, instead of knight f6, he could play bishop to g4 and queen d7. So I didn't ask you to choose black's move, but I think if he could have played, let's bishop to g4, let's just click back to explain what I'm thinking of. Maybe black is not going to have time. Let's see. Yeah, if he does that, and let's say white does anything else here, some sort of move. Yeah, then maybe black could get his queen to d7 and scuttle his king to the queen side. He's probably got as much defense on the queen side as he has on the king side. So I tend to think if Morphy's attack was sound, maybe the weakness that black had here was possibly to play knight f6, because this move was kind of, it got him into a bit of difficulty. So let's see how the game went. Black plays knight to f6. And we're going to go on to question 7. And so you choose what you'd play for white here. So every move counts in this position. It's not that white's so sad that he's a pawn down. He's thinking, oh, one more move and black will get his king into safety, and I'm going to have a hell of a job attacking that castled king. This is well known. It's a very strong defensive position. So I think if you played bishop g5, that looks like such a good move because it pins the knight, and later on you might play your pawn to e5. I think bishop g5, 6 points. Rook e1 give you 4. I still, against rook e1 he can probably castle. Queen b3, I think that doesn't. We'll give you 4 points for that. After queen b3, this is the problem for white. After queen b3, then surely black will be able to play his magic move, castling. And again, white's attack. Well, white has compensation here for his lost pawn. He has the pawn center, he has the better development. But the jewel in the crown is, can he actually exploit the king position? So Morphy did not play queen b3. We're going to retreat and retreat. He actually played this remarkable move. It's the move you want to play, but then you think maybe it's not going to work. So white plays e5. Morphy plays this move e5, and we're going to give 8 points if you chose that move. Now, the black knight's under threat, so black takes the pawn on e5. And we've got to question 8. Now, it's your choice for white. What are you going to play here? This is such a critical position in the understanding of chess, because this concept turns up in so many openings. You should become familiar with it. You see, if you now play d takes e5, and we'll give you 4 points for that, d takes e5, then it's black's lucky day, because he can first exchange the queens. And then you take back. Yep. And now he deals with his knight, which he goes to g4. And suddenly things are no longer as rosy for white as they were. So this was the natural move to take on e5, but look what's happened. Now the queens are off, so white's best attacking piece is gone. The pawn on f2 is under threat. That f2 pawn is under threat from the bishop and knight. Not only that, the white pawn on e5 is in danger. So where has white's attack gone? Everything is evaporated. White is on the back foot. White is a pawn down. He's busted. And all for just making a little pawn capture. Let's see. So we're going to give you 4 points for that. It looked like a good idea, but I'm afraid it's not the way things have got to go. Yeah. Now, you could again play queen b3, or you could play knight g5. Again, 4 points for these attacking moves on f7. But again, black has the chance to castle. The same goes for if you played knight takes e5. We'll give you 4 for that. The same thing happens. Black can now, if you play knight takes e5, black takes back with his knight, and white takes with the pawn. And guess what black does? Of course, he swaps the queens. And then he solved most of his problems. So this is a bit of a puzzle for Morphy. He wants to make this move, but he notices that it doesn't work. He must have worked this out before he played e5. Now, if you played the amazing move, rook e1 isn't. We could have played rook e1. We're going to give you 4 points for that. The problem with rook e1, again, after rook e1, black will again castle. Yeah. So this is your major problem. You've got the king in your sights. The king can disappear into his castle stronghold. So that's why Morphy plays bishop to a3. So let's make that move. Bishop to a3. Now, we did talk about the box of chocolates, which is getting your men out of the box of chocolates. So actually, Morphy's done that. You can see he's got all his pieces in action. He hasn't quite connected the rooks, just the queen. When the queen moves out next, the rooks will be connected. So Morphy's doing well with his box of chocolates. But in chess, the important thing is not just to get your hands on the chocolates. It's also to stop your opponent getting his chocolates out of the box. It may seem unfair, but that is chess. Yeah. So here, the bishop going to a3 will prevent black castling, because you may be unaware of the rule of chess, but a king cannot castle through a check. The bishop is attacking the vital square f8, and the king is not allowed to move across a attacked square. So again, these rules were very carefully worked out down the centuries after 1500. And this was an important motif which Morphy would have used many times in his games. So he's prepared to do some sacrificing of pawns, even pieces, just to keep the king in the center and stop black actually completing, getting his sardines out of the can, getting his chocolates out of the box. Right, of course, white has lost his center, but the more pawns that depart from the center, the more open the black king will be. So this is the other advantage white's got. Even though he's lost his pawns, he has opened the files. So bishop a3, 10 points, well done if he chose that brilliant move. Now black didn't probably, he could have kind of taken with knight takes d4. He probably didn't like that much because the white knight could take on e5, and guess what white is threatening now? Yes, none other than checkmate with bishop takes f7. So black is that close to disaster. Let's retreat these pieces. There's a limit to how much material black can gobble. The same if black plays his pawn to take in on d4. Then let's have a look at that. Pawn takes on d4. Then I think white's going to use the aggressive part of castling to get his rook onto the e-file, and black's king is kaput. I don't think he's going to survive this onslaught. So let's retreat, see what Hampton does in this position. I think we've got another possibility for him, which is naturally, I would say, the third possibility would be the one I didn't want to analyze because it's more complicated. Let's say he plays bishop takes d4. Yes, okay, we've got to think of something to do here. Bishop takes d4. And let's ask you a question. This will be question 9, which is a sub-question because this position never arose. Black restrained himself. He didn't take the extra pawn. Yeah, what would you play in this position? I would say knight g5 would give you 6 points if you found that move. Knight g5 hits the weak spot point at f7, and black would naturally like to take your knight at c3, but then bishop takes f7 isn't just check, it's mate, because you've opened the line of the queen. So we're going to pause this. We'll actually go back to the position, where black hasn't played bishop takes d4, he hasn't played e takes d4, he hasn't played knight takes d4. For all those reasons, no, he did something else. But for the continuation of this marvelous struggle by Morphy, which is so instructive to learn from, then don't miss next week's thrilling installment. But now on to the games that we're going to play. So have we got any? Ah, yes, we're playing Visigoth. Okay, or Visigoth. Right, and it looks like I'm right. So I think in honor of Anderson, I'm going to play Anderson's opening, which often can transpose into the Kelly variation of the Sicilian. Okay, maybe we'll go into the St. George, reverse St. George orangutan, which Jack Rudd played against Gawain Jones some time ago, just a few weeks ago. Oh, very good defense for black. He's playing his pawn to g6. Looks like this is going to be a cagey game. Well, maybe we just play it positionally. Try and get our bishops onto good diagonals. Right, good move by black. Yes, he's probably going to play his pawn to e5. Okay. Oops, not that one. This one. Right. Knight d7. Yeah. There's going to be a battle in the center. c5. I'm surprised at that move. I think we just, whoops, not the knight, the bishop. We're going to continue with maybe quiet development. And he's castled. We're going to do the same. Yeah. 8. Now we've got to decide on how we're going to continue here. The problem is, how do we develop this knight on c3? And if we play pawn to d3, we'll have a weakness at e3. Okay, let's just, I think we're going to have to temporize here. Play c4. Not quite ready to develop our knight, but one day I want to maybe keep the pawns d2, e3, f4, all guarding each other. That's why I haven't played. So he's kind of accepted, taken a pawn. Doesn't look like a great capture because, after all, he's now given me an extra center pawn, which we do. Okay, right. Let's just play the pawn to b5. Could have done something more aggressive like knight c3, just sacking that pawn. Again, his queen looks in a funny position. It's going to be attacked at some point. So this is the point where my opponent gets a rubbish position and then starts to swindle me. So watch out for the swindle. How bad will his position get? Maybe he'll get his knight to c5. That will take pawn to d5. That's a fantastically aggressive move. I think we're going to ignore it. Okay. Right, now he's taken our c pawn. I think the bishop will take back. Might have some little plans for his f7 square. Something queen b3 one day. I think he'll have to play knight f8 really. Go knight c5. But not going to work. He has played knight c5. Now we could go d4, and he plays something like knight e4. Do we want that? Knight takes, knight e5, knight e5. Okay, let's play d4. I don't like advancing pawns in the center, but I'm gonna do it anyway. Yes, this is probably over aggressive. Right. Now we're gonna take. Well, we can do lots of stuff here. I think I'm gonna try knight e5. Put a bit of pressure on f7. At least the knight's got a strong position here. Takes the knight with the bishop, he does open up my f file, so he might not want to do that. Then he might not care. Maybe just do that and say that my bishop on b2 is rubbish, blocked by its own pawn. You can probably go e6. And we've got to decide. How we get rid of the knight. Yeah, I think I'll play e6. Yes, it's knight on e4 is annoying, but maybe we'll be able to attack it somehow. See him taken on e5, but he might do that if he's a brave man. Cafe. Probably wouldn't play queen b3. He might play knight d2, forking me. Having a long think. Very long with it. Yeah, bishop e6. Actually, that's a point. He might be able to take back with the queen. Possibly could be a good defense. Maybe 6. Yes. Bishop takes, queen takes. Might play d5, but we don't know how strong that is. It's complicated. Trying to find the best way. He has taken with the bishop. Okay. Maybe. Nice played pawn e6. Doesn't look great, that. Surely, can I not go queen f3? Then he's in a bit of a pickle. Knight. He could play knight d2, but that would not be good. I think queen f3 looks pretty hot. Let's do that. I'm gonna go. Come on. Queen. Yep. Queen f3. If you play pawn f5, I can take it en passant. It's not going to go knight g2. Looks like knight g5 is his only move. Well, it doesn't look good for him. I could play queen f4. And it's probably going to win a pawn. Let's see, oh, he could play his queen back. No, queen to d8, h4 looks bad for him. So I think he's got a queen f4 looks really mean. Okay, queen f4, queen to c. Ah, that's a good defense. He's on my. Yep. Okay, I think I'll just play my rook to c1 because there's a possible. Now he's played queen e7, but doesn't that get his knight trapped? I would say that doesn't look good for him. His knight should now be in the pickle. Play queen b4 onto my bishop. No, that don't look good. I'll take his knight and get something on f7. Looks like knight h3 check, best chance. I have to take. Do not move the king. Now he has. Okay, let's play bishop a3 just to persecute him. Okay, nothing wrong with persecution. Work for the Spanish, so it's going to work for us. Now, queen d7. Yep. Now, that's a good move. I think, yeah, I think just play our rook to c2. And now the rook across to f2. Suppose he has to play f5, but it doesn't look very good. I'll probably take en passant. If he moves his rook to guard the pawn, that doesn't look good either. I'll take with my bishop. And then I seem to have more men. f5, yeah. That looks like the best shot. So en passant puts a bit difficulty. The king's gone to f7. I think the queen coming to h6 looks a bit strong. He hasn't got any mate threats. Queen h6, g8. I think he has given. Okay, right. Well, that was a kind of St. George, reverse St. George, and I think early on he suffered from a confusion of plans. I didn't know whether he was playing on the center, king side, or queen side. Let's see. So now we'll try again our creepy crawly. We better do h6 this time, which doesn't have a name. Maybe the delayed Borg opening. Oh, he's played e4. I think no, we better go a6. I'm not sure if that's the best, but we'll see. c4. Now we play g5, because we may try for a central attack on the black squares. Just drawing the curtains. h4. That's a great move. Now, I think, yeah, I'm going to play, g4. I don't think I've played this sacrifice before, not in this particular position. So looks a bit naff, but let's try it anyway, because now we can get to make a discovered attack on the queen. Now, will he notice my threat to the queen? It's from the bishop at c. So my whole opening plan is destroyed. He has saved his queen. Was it worth sacrificing a pawn just for a cheap trick? Okay, we just have to continue the game. I take the pawn. Now, he's moved his queen for the 999th time, which means I can gain a bit of time on his queen. Maybe this is not such a disaster as I thought it was. What do I do now? A tricky moment. There. That's not really what I want to do. Okay, I think I don't know about this one. Okay, let's try. Knight f3. Okay, I think we should put a rook on an open file. We sacrifice the pawn. Surely we have to do this. Well, I have a little plan of moving my rook to g4 and winning his d pawn, but I think that's a bit transparent. I'm going to fall for that. Obviously. d5, yeah, the move I feared. Now, d5. Remember, if I go knight. Yes, if I go knight b4, not sure about that. I think I'll try rook g4. He's kind of a bit of distraction. Pawn takes knight, rook takes queen. Queen d2. Yeah, pity. Right. Getting a bit ridiculous, isn't it? I can't really go knight d4 or knight b4. I could play knight e4. God, knight e4. Where's he going to go? He's got to put his queen somewhere. There. Then I'd have to move my knight somewhere. Oof. I think I've got to go rook e4 check. Bishop e2, yeah. Okay. Maybe this is not going the way I want it. I have to move this knight. Okay. Don't know what my rook is doing there in the middle of the board. That is such a good idea. Let's pretend we know what we're doing. He might go knight c3. He might castle. Do lots of things. He has got his. He's taking me knight. I suppose he wanted to. Yeah, maybe my rook could get into a bit of trouble, to say the least. Yeah, worried about him going f4 here, and my rook not having any exit squares. Yeah. Knight c3. Okay. Now is bishop g4 going to work? He'll play f3. Yeah, my rook is still looking unhappy. So I've got to think of something here. I don't like his move. f4 coming. This rook is just not a happy bunny. But we've got to get a life for him. It's knight e4. I don't know if that's going to work. This is bad. He could maybe play queen d4 then. Bishop g7. Okay, I think we're going to have to develop. Come on, let's develop. Yep. Now, he's castled. Right. We need some activity here again. Still not happy about that rook. I think, okay, we're gonna try and develop our queen. Queen to d3. What's that for? Where's he going? What is he up to? Maybe trying to play queen, trying to obscure my rook. Okay, let's develop. Okay. This queen's got to go somewhere. He could go to there. That's certainly yes. Ouch. That's not what I wanted. Oh, he's gone to g3. Now he's trying to go maybe bishop f4, but I'm not too concerned about that. Well, we are actually, but we can't do anything else. Bishop f4's coming. Right. Can we go bishop g4? I don't think so. It's still in a mess. We're going to have to castle. Yeah. Bishop f4. Right. Okay. I think he's threatening something. Yeah, he's threatening a lot of stuff. For example, that move. Yeah. Okay. What are we going to do? Yeah. Sorry, not the king. To g8. Whoops, c5. Hadn't seen that. Uh-oh. Oh my goodness. I thought I could lose a rook, but not. Uh-oh. This is looking bad. Okay. Now I think it's curtains now. I should have gone knight d7. This c5 killer move. Well, we ain't got much here. We'll just have to take and hope for the best. Okay. We'll just have to play knight d7. Okay, a rook disadvantage is a slight drawback. Yes, knight d7 would be more interesting. e4. Right? Worried, I think. Okay, we've got to take bishop e5. Bishop takes f5. Right. Still looks a little tricky, this position. Okay. I have some difficulties. The fact is, I am looked out. Queen to a4. This guy is too strong. So bad. a4. Now he's going to... It sure looks like curtain. Queen a4. I'm going to play such a good move. Okay. What? We haven't got anything we can do here. We just have to take the queen. I can't see anything else. Okay. Okay. Well, we don't want to resign. We want to play king here. We have a strong attack. But we do have a missing rook. Alright, we've only got 1 minute on the clock. That's could lead to difficulties. He doesn't know what to do. His position is too strong. He's going to get confused. Look at the terror in his eyes. Look at my well centralized pieces. I spoke too soon. He doesn't know what he's doing. Knight c5, right. Well, protect our pawns. They're going to queen soon. Rook to e1. Okay. Yep. Doesn't seem to be making any mistakes. Pawns are equal. The rooks are not. Knight d3. Fine move. Consolidating. Okay. We will also consolidate our positional advantage in the center. Now, how can we exploit our advantage? What advantages do we have? We have a rock solid position. Rooks are always difficult to get into action. Rook e4. Okay. I suppose so. I think we need to get our king into action. Now, what is his winning plan? No more than about 20 winning plans. Well, he's catching up on time. C1. Right, fine idea. Okay. Okay. Well, it's not clear. I better not do much thinking here. I think my king needs to do some work. He's got his king working as well. Now, oops, no, I won't move the king because he might check me. Now, can I get some attack going? No. Okay, play the pawn. here. Begin the queenside attack. Must be getting worried. Rook c6. Yes, that's good. Okay, now can we attack even more? No, we can't attack even more. Let's attack even more on the queen side. Maybe that was wrong. I just noticed he has a plan. Yes, that check does look quite deadly. Uh-oh. I should have played h5 before allowing that. I think these curtains. It's got to be curtains. I think no, we can't do anything. He's going to go rook g4. But, oh, I lost on time, but the position was lost. Yeah, okay, good. So, gained by the opponent. I think the opening actually went well for black, but it didn't work out. The entanglement of the rook. So, yeah, knight c5. Knight d7, stopping with knight c5 would probably have given me compensation. Yeah, okay, thanks.